I am calling to order the Public Works and Services Committee of Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. Welcome, everyone. First item on the agenda is a communication sponsored by Alder Horton requesting the new Public Works and Services Committee select a chair and vice chair for the 2026-2027 calendar year. It is up to this body how they wish to vote, whether it be secret ballot or other means. So I will leave that up to you folks to decide, but nominations are open.
Question before vote either.
Or just the roll call or some other means, if there's a desire to do that.
Nobody object.
I think that.
Alder Allen?
Thank you for. I think secret ballot would be nice. There are 5 of us, and I'd just like to keep it friendly, I guess. I don't think there's a reason why we need to have a roll call vote.
Alder Harmon.
Okay. I think Alder Widener has the floor, and she has made a motion. No, Alder Widener? Nope. Okay, so then Alder Allen has made a motion that we do it by secret ballot. I'm just making sure that I understand, because 2 different things were spoken while one person had the floor.
All right, did you make a motion, Alder Allen?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak out of turn. I thought you acknowledged me. Yes, I make a motion that we select our chairperson by secret ballot.
We do have a motion on the floor that it be done by secret ballot, and I will call the roll, and please.
I'll second that, since that's the only
I'm sorry.
motion that is on the floor.
Okay, the motion has been seconded. I will now call the roll. Alder Allen.
Yes.
Alder DeMark.
Yes.
Alder Widener. Alder Pabon. Alder Harmon.
Aye.
Vote is unanimous that we do secret ballot for voting on chair and vice chair. So bear with me one moment while I prepare those ballots, and we'll go ahead with the vote.
Excuse me. Question?
At this time, we'll take nominations for President of the Public Works and Services Committee. Alder Widener.
I wish to put my name forward. Public Works Committee. I want to be trained. Not for personal ambition. I've been on this council long enough that I stopped caring about titles a long time ago. I am putting my name forward. I believe the residents of the Department of Public Works deserve.
Is it not working?
I'm working.
You just got to be a little bit closer to the mic.
I'm putting my name forward because I believe the residents of Racine and the Department of Public Works deserve leadership on this committee that reflects the weight of the work that we do here. Public Works is not a general policy committee. It operates within a defined framework of standards, infrastructure timelines, regulatory compliance, and capital planning constraints. The chair of this committee has to understand those boundaries before they can effectively lead within them. Experience here is not a luxury, it is a prerequisite. I have served on the council for 22 years. The combined council experience of every other member of this committee totals approximately 3.5 years. I say this not to diminish my colleagues. Each will grow into this work, but to be honest about what the committee requires of its leadership right now. The council passed ordinance 0001-25 specifically so that standing committees could govern themselves, so that the people doing the work could choose their own leadership based on merit and knowledge of that work. I ask that we honor the intent of that ordinance today. I am asking for your vote as chair. But whatever the outcome, I will show up as I always have and do the work that Racine residents are counting on us to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Widener. Do we have any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate myself for chair too.
You, Alder Pavon. By the way, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Pabon.
Pavon.
Pabon's fine, yeah. I mean, I've been on here less than Alder Widener had alluded to, obviously, but I do think that what we need is a fresh perspective on things that still takes into account the weight and gravity of the situation that we're in, as well as how we move forward from here instead of just business as usual. And I think that collectively we have the minds to do just that. So, thank you.
Alder Harmon, you
Thank
have
you,
the
sir.
floor.
Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate it. This is not how I did it in the last year. This is typically not what I had expected, but I also nominate myself as chair. And the reason why I nominate myself as chair is because I believe in transition and believe that there needs to be a smooth transition for the completion of goals, objectives, and what we have planned for the rest of the year for Department of Public Works. I am the only member of this current committee that was on the committee last year who have worked with the department, understand what we have put together without having to refresh my mind and talk with people to get this done. I am able to hit the ground running, including with this public hearing that is scheduled for tonight. I am able to work effectively with any of the Common Council members, but especially with everyone that is on this committee. And so, therefore, I nominate myself, and I would like to receive the support from all committee members. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Harmon. Are there any other nominations that anybody wishes to bring to the floor? Okay, that being said, quick question for the attorney. Do we need to vote on these separately, or can they just be voted on given the 3 nominations?
Fill out their ballots, and depending on the results, they can determine what happens next.
Okay. Thank you, attorney. Let's go ahead and Alder Widener.
Just to clarify, because electing our own chair and vice chair is something relatively new. This is the second year that we've done this. I know on Common Council we have to receive 2/3 of the vote, and is that not correct?
The
A
council
majority?
president just
Majority, okay.
don't have a specific tie-breaking procedures for the committee chair and vice chair, but the ordinance says the committee selects its own chair and vice chair, so the committee can determine its own procedures if there were to. I would suggest there would be a.
Are we supposed to be voting for chair and vice chair right now, or just chair? Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Letney. Is there anybody else with any other discussion before we proceed with the vote? All right, please go ahead and vote as you wish. I will come and collect your ballots. Okay, the results of the vote are as follows. Alder Weidner, 1 vote. Alder Pabon, Alder Pabon, 1 vote. Alder Harmon, 2 votes, and 1 abstain. So by majority, Alder Harmon is now the chair of the committee. I'd like to come up and handle the vice chair voting. I'd sure appreciate that.
Thank you so much. All right, now we are going to start the voting for the vice chair spot. Would we like to do that as a roll call, or would we like to do that secret ballot?
I make a motion that we do that by secret.
Is there a second? All right, we have a second. All right. Alder Allen, your vote? Yes or no? We're now, you have a motion that we do the voting of the vice chair by secret ballot. That has been seconded. Now I need to go around to make sure that there is a majority. Alder Allen, what is your vote?
Yes.
Alder DeMarc, what is your vote?
Aye.
Alder Allen, what is your vote? Alder Whitener, what is your vote? And Alder Pabon, what is your vote? Thank you. Please vote.
Nomination.
Oh, I apologize. Any nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate myself just as president.
Alder Pabon has nominated himself. Would you like to add anything else? Alder Pabon?
No, it's just, we're going to move forward here regardless of the circumstances, but I think that just having different perspectives is a good idea, so I look forward to working regardless if the committee wants me as vice chair or not.
All right, thank you. Any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations for vice chair? Going twice. Any other nominations for vice chair? Going a third time. All right, so Alder Pabon, you will be vice chair. Thank you. Let's now take a 5-minute break before we go. All right, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Alder Pabon, you are vice chair. Thank you. Now we will go into a 5-minute break before we go into the public hearing. Thank you. It's okay.
Check, check.
All right. I am going to call to order tonight's public hearing. All aldermen, please come back to your seats, please. All right, welcome everyone to tonight's public hearing. Tonight we have the alders of the Department of Public Works. I myself is Alderman Marlo Harmon from District 14. We also have Alderman Rocco DeMarc from District 12. We have Alderman Sandy Widener from District 6. We have Alderman Grace Allen from District 9, and we have Alderman Nathan Papone from District 15. We also have Ron Pritzer here tonight, Assistant Commissioner of Public Works and Operations. We have Era Molitor, City Engineer, Kendra Hipshin, Administrative Assistants recording the public hearing, and then we have Christine Wilkerson, Engineer Technician. She'll be tabulating the responses. Right now I'm going to ask Ron to read the notice of public hearing sheet, and we are going to move on from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a public hearing for anyone, their agent or attorney, to state their support of or objection to the proposed street improvement paving projects. Public comments, letters, and petitions will be made part of the record of this hearing and will be taken under consideration when the committee determines which streets will be approved, disapproved, or modified for improvement at its next scheduled meeting. There will be no action taken on the streets proposed at tonight's hearing. Each proposed street improvement paving project will be announced and considered individually. Each proposed project will be on display during the public hearing for reference and information. You only need to state your name, address, and if you are in favor of or opposed to your street or alley's accessible project. If it is a street assessment project, you will need to also state your preference of bituminous versus concrete. There is no need to explain your position. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Property owners who do not wish to speak at tonight's hearing but do wish to state their support or objection can send a letter to the Commissioner of Public Works. Letters must be received within 10 days after the public hearing to be considered. All petitions and letters will be made a part of the record of tonight's public hearing. Property owners' support or opposition to each project will be reported on a percentage of frontage basis to the Public Works and Services Committee at their next meeting. If the City of Racine determines to proceed with the proposed project, a final resolution shall be adopted by the Common Council. The City Clerk shall publish the final resolution as a Class 1 notice. A copy of said resolution shall be mailed to every interested party. A person having an interest in land affected by the determination of the Common Council shall have 90 days after the date of notice to appeal the determination to the Racine County Circuit Court. Streets adopted for improvement and alleys adopted for paving this year will be bid for construction in the summer of the following year. After construction is completed and the construction contract is closed, the abutting property owners will be assessed for the portion of the project cost. Assessments under $200 must be paid in full. Assessments over $200 may be paid in 10 annual installments. Deferred payments to bear an interest rate at 6% per annum on the unpaid balance. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ron. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to Era Molitor, who will present each street up for public comment.
I have a few slides to go over before we get into the first street. Some of this is going to be reiteration, but basically potential streets are usually brought up for consideration by staff based on the PCI rating for that street. If they are under 40 PCI, which is a pavement condition index rating. If unforeseen, or the street will be considered every 2 years if it's unsuccessful in the public hearing. So you won't, it might have been 2 years ago that these streets were brought up. If they're unsuccessful again, it'll be another 2 years before they're brought up again. I'd like to reiterate that there is no action taken tonight. When your street is presented, step up to the mic, state clearly your name, address, and opposition, or if in favor, please state whether you prefer concrete
which is a permanent pavement lasting 50 years or more. If it's asphalt pavement, it will be assessed again when the pavement reaches its end of its useful life, apparently, or approximately 25 years or more from when it's reconstructed. This first slide, this following represents a typical 32-foot flange to flange, which is excluding the curb and gutter of a residential street, showing the increase of front footage, which is how you're assessed based on the front footage of your property. The front footage cost for the past 10 years of a 32-foot flange to flange. If you notice, the curve was kind of flat back in the teens, where prices didn't increase a whole lot. But once the post-pandemic era happened, the prices have increased greatly each year. So right now, for 2027, which is what we notified you in your letter, the cost for a 32-foot flange-to-flange roadway per front foot is $222. So if you take that same street, this graph represents what we project in 5 years from now. That same street will cost approximately $300 or $340 per front footage, which is an estimate. But the only thing I can guarantee is that it will not decrease in cost. The costs will go up each and every year, or at best plateau. So with that, the first street I have is Barber Drive. Barber Drive from the cul-de-sac to Gulf Avenue. This is in District 6, which is Alder Widener's district. The existing surface is bituminous, which was constructed in 1972. It has a current PCI rating of 22. The existing pavement width is 32 feet from flange to flange, with current right-of-way as 110 feet. The improvement cost for Portland cement concrete is at the $222 per front footage, or for bituminous is estimated at $108 per front footage. This is a staff recommendation. To date, when we cut it off this morning, we have 3 emails and 1 letter totaling 10.04% opposed and 3.79% in favor. This was last brought up for public hearing in 2024.
Okay. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Barber Drive, the cul-de-sac to Gulf Avenue? All right. Could you please just state your name, your address, and your position, please?
Barbara McIntosh. I live at 3122 Barber Drive. I'm opposed to the repavement, and I also want to present a petition with my neighbor's signatures.
That's it. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak on Barber Drive, the cul-de-sac to Gulf Avenue? Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Barber Drive, cul-de-sac to Gulf Avenue? All right. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Barber Drive, cul-de-sac to Gulf Avenue? All right. I declare public comments for this street to be closed, and we can move on to the next, please.
The next street is Biscayne Avenue from Oakwood Drive to Monarch Drive. This is in District 14, Alder Harmon's district. The existing surface is constructed bituminous in 2006 with a current PCI rating of 37. The existing pavement width is 32 foot from edge to edge with a 66-foot right-of-way. The improvement estimated cost for Portland cement concrete is $222 per front footage, and for asphalt is $113 per front footage. Since there's no curb and gutter, the curb and gutter is also assessed at $63 a front foot. This road is a staff recommendation. To date, we've had no feedback. This was also brought up in 2024.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Biscayne Avenue, Oakwood Drive to Monarch Drive? Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Biscayne Avenue, Oakwood Drive to Monarch Drive? My third request, is there anyone here tonight to speak on Biscayne Avenue, Oakwood Drive to Monarch Drive? I declare the public comments to be closed for this street, and we will move on to the next. Thank you.
All right, next roadway is Crabapple Drive from Hickory Way to the cul-de-sac. This is in District 9, Alder Allen's district. Existing surface is constructed in bituminous in 1994. It has a current PCI rating of 32. The existing pavement width is 32 foot with existing right-of-way of 60 feet. The improvement estimated cost for Portland cement is $222 a front foot, and for bituminous is at $121 a front foot. This is a staff recommendation, and to date we've received a petition for 100% opposed to the improvements. This street was also brought up in 2024 for public hearing.
Is there anyone who's here tonight that would like to speak on Crabapple Drive, Hickory Way to cul-de-sac? Please step forward and state your name and address and your position, please.
Hi, Natalie Brown, 1513 Crabapple Drive, opposed. And I don't know if you need this, I've already submitted it, the petition. Okay.
You have up to 3 minutes. Anything else? All right, thank you. Next person who would like to speak on Crabapple Drive, Hickory Way to cul-de-sac, please step up. Let us know your name, address, and your position, please.
I'm Mike Rudin. Address is 1500 Crabapple Drive. My question is, the cul-de-sac is just limited to the residents who live there, other than delivery trucks, occasional visitors, and maybe an Amazon truck, or city vehicles for me. But these properties create pie-shaped lots. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases they do. And yet everyone uses the cul-de-sac pretty equally. So my question is, why aren't we taking linear footage throughout the cul-de-sac and then dividing it equally amongst the residents? It seems like we're trying to make one size fit all. Now, if it wasn't a cul-de-sac, then I would understand the method in which you're doing it, because there'd be a lot more through traffic. But in this case, the traffic is very limited to the people who just live there. So I'm wondering if the city could take a good hard look at how they quantify these costs and maybe become a little more effective and a little bit more fair. In my case, I have a lot of frontage, but my backyard lot line is very narrow. So it doesn't seem equitable to me, because everyone uses that cul-de-sac, I would say, equally. The damage that typically occurs back there, because it's a cul-de-sac, and because I think the city does a pretty good job at removing snow, but it's typically the city trucks that really chew up that surface. So, a lot of that can't be helped. I understand that. But there is some damage on that cul-de-sac, and I'm understanding that the city is unwilling to repair it, which doesn't make much sense to me. The city vehicles are the ones that actually created it. Maybe not in every case, but in this case, I would say so, because of the radius in which these large trucks have to maneuver. So I think that's something else that should be discussed. That's it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Crabapple Drive, Hickory Way to cul-de-sac? Please state your name, address, and position.
I'm Debbie Rudin, 1500 Crabapple Drive. I'm opposed. And my question for all of you is, similar to what my husband said, it's really striking to me that with all of the terrible streets we have in the city of Racine, that you're focused on this cul-de-sac or any of these other ones you're mentioning tonight, really. And we should be able to chip in as neighbors and fix it ourselves because, like my husband said, the damage is really not done by us, nor should we have to pay between $14,000 and $26,000 to fix it when we could literally fix it ourselves. So please consider letting us do that.
Thank you. There seems to be one more person interested in speaking about, yes, sir. Please state your name and address and your position.
Jerome Krieger, opposed. If it were to go, I'd rather have concrete than asphalt, but I oppose the whole thing. One thing I have a question on, has the city ever looked at the possibility of doing white topping rather than full depth concrete? I don't know what that is. Is there somebody I can talk to about that?
I am going to pass your question off to Ari.
We have a kind of a set policy. Our permanent pavement is a concrete street, or a brick street, which we're not.
But do you know what white topping is?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you familiar with white topping?
I am familiar with white topping,
Okay.
yes.
It's been successfully used in Illinois, all over the place.
It's not a permanent it's not a permanent pavement. It's going to break up as easily as asphalt. We are looking for a minimum of 50 years out of the life of a roadway. White topping is not going to last 50 years. It's similar to asphalt. It's going to last 20 to 25 at best. Residential, you might get 30, but that's about it. We're looking for a permanent pavement. That's the way the ordinance is written, that permanent pavements are either brick, which we don't really use anymore, macadam, which is so old that we don't even know what that is anymore, or concrete. Concrete is a full depth pavement for residential streets.
I'm familiar, I
Yeah,
get it.
7 inches is for a residential street. We go up for, depending on industrial, whatever. But an asphalt or a white top or all that it's a non-permanent pavement. It doesn't last the lifespan that we require. So we could do it. It'd cost more than what the asphalt is.
You have less downtime.
And it wouldn't last any longer, and then you would be assessed again at the end of that pavement life.
Bottom line is that would have to come from a common council as well. Those definitions are set by the common council, and it'd have to be changed by the common council.
So in this cul-de-sac, we have, I'm going to call them potholes because that's what is there. They're big potholes. They're 180 square feet, 125 square feet, and 120 square feet. So, totally we have 425 square feet of damaged asphalt. Why can't one of us, pay for it or work with the city to get it fixed, and then we can just be off this ballot for the next 20 years?
With our pavement policy, once a pavement condition index rating or PCI rating is below 40 PSI, the pavement is beyond maintenance or routine maintenance.
What's 40 PSI?
That's the rating system we use. It's a scale of 0 to 100.
Oh, I know that, but I'd like to hear the definition.
It's a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 is failed or a gravel road, where 100 is a new road. 40 is a threshold that we have determined that We no longer can crack seal, joint repair, overlay, or anything like that where it'd be economically feasible for us to do it. We have to, we basically are left with reconstruct. So it's reconstruct in asphalt, which will be assessed every time it happens because it's not a permanent pavement, or reconstruct in concrete, which is a permanent pavement. It's a one-time deal and it's done and over with. Anytime a concrete pavement fails, the city is responsible for replacing that road.
Yeah, it's pretty clear in your letter what you know, how you guys want it going. I get it, I get it. I was in concrete construction for 33 years, so I get it.
Thank you.
But why can't we just fix what's broke and not have all, you know, I've had people fall in front of my, in this pothole. I mean, you know, mine is 180 feet, 45 feet long and 4 feet wide, and it's all gravelly, and people slip and fall, and
We do understand.
it's a liability, and why can't we just fix it as a group? I mean, there's 11 of us on this cul-de-sac, it costs $400 a person, and it'd be done.
I completely understand. I think the communities and neighbors have said the exact same thing or similar to it. We do have a galley that is full. Everyone gets 3 minutes. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but
I have another minute left? No, I'm kidding.
How much? Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who is here to speak on Crab Apple Drive and Hickory Way to cul-de-sac? Please step forward. Please let us know your name, your address, and your position, and please be mindful that you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
John Kiefer, 1513 Crabapple Drive. I am opposed, and my reference is to the gentleman who said that if it's beyond repair, if it's beyond this, if it's beyond that. Well, the gentleman who was just up here has lived there for 15 years and has requested 5 different times for repairs, and it's never been repaired. So is there an explanation why, if you guys deem it beyond repair, why it was never attempted to be repaired in 15 years?
Thank you. I will allow Era, who is the city engineer, to respond to that.
I didn't hear the full question.
I think the question that the resident is asking is why has the cul-de-sac not been repaired prior to it getting to the state of where it is right now?
I guess the reason would be that, I mean, we're the staffing and the budget, we don't have money to repair, potholes that are 180 feet long.
We don't have the money to spend $24,000 because you guys changed your mind and won't repair it. That is my problem.
That is what the paving policy is right now.
Based on the front footage, the people at the end of the cul-de-sac actually use it more than the group of us here, but they're going to get a third of the price. That, like Mike said, that needs to be addressed because that's absolutely incorrect. And if that's how you guys base it, well, then I'm sorry, but it's wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Crabapple Drive, Hickory Way to cul-de-sac? Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Crabapple Drive, Hickory Way to cul-de-sac? And the third and last time, is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Crabapple Drive, Hickory Way to cul-de-sac? All right, I declare the comment sections closed for this street, and now we're going to move on to Deborah Lane.
Next street is Deborah Lane from Delaware Avenue to Winthrop Avenue. This is in District 10, Alder Pete's district. Existing surface bituminous was constructed in 1971 with a PCI rating of 20. Existing pavement width is 32 foot from flange to flange, and existing right-of-way is 60 feet. The estimated improvement cost for Portland cement concrete is $222 a front foot, or $94 a front foot for bituminous. This is a staff recommendation. To date, we have one email, or 4.46% opposed. This was also brought up in 2024.
Thank you. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Deborah Lane, Delaware Avenue to Winthrop Avenue? Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Deborah Lane, Delaware Avenue to Winthrop Avenue? And finally, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Deborah Lane, Delaware Avenue to Winthrop Avenue? I declare the public comments section closed for this time, and now we are going to move on to Howland Avenue.
Next street is Howland Avenue from Rowe Avenue to West 6th Street. This is in District 3, Alder Davis's district. Excuse me. The existing surface was constructed in asphalt in 2003. The current PCI rating is 36. The existing pavement width is 30 foot from flange to flange, and the existing right-of-way is 60 feet. The estimated improvement cost for Portland cement concrete is at $208 a front foot, or $90 for bituminous front foot. This is a staff recommendation. To date, we've had 0% feedback. This was also brought up in 2024.
Thank you. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Howland Avenue, Rowe Avenue to West 6th Street? Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Howland Avenue, Rowe Avenue to West 6th Street? And finally, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Howland Avenue, Rowe Avenue to West 6th Street? I declare the comments section for this address to be closed, and we are now going to move on to Indiana Street.
Next street is Indiana Street from Durand Avenue to Pierce Boulevard. This is in District 14, or Alder Harmon's district. The existing surface is bituminous concrete. It's constructed in 1990 with a current PCI rating of 21. Existing pavement width is 32 foot from flange to flange with the existing right-of-way of 60 feet. The improvement estimated cost for Portland cement concrete is $222 a front foot, or for bituminous at $93 a front foot. This is a staff recommendation. To date, we've had 0% opposed. This was also brought up in 2024.
Thank you. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Indiana Street, Durand Avenue to Pierce Boulevard? All right, I see we have one person. Please state your name, address, and your position.
My name is Jude, 809, excuse me. The only question I have, because obviously we can't oppose it again. Final estimate then, so we know that this is what we're paying in 2027.
The assessment letter that you get is the maximum amount you will pay. So if the project comes in less, you will pay less. If the project comes in more, the city will eat the difference.
The other one is if you have a, okay, so if we're going to do asphalt or concrete, we got to figure it out. How long, when do you have to have everybody's to sign, to tell what we want? How do we do that? Get a petition through the neighborhood, and when do we have to submit it? Oh, I'm sorry. When do we have?
Ma'am, are you asking what the time frame is to submit a petition? Within 10 days after this meeting is when it would need to be in.
No, I mean, if we want asphalt or concrete, we only have 10 days after this meeting to decide whether we want either or.
Or you can you can express that today, or you can express it at the final vote, which would be at the next Public Works and Services meeting.
Okay. One more last question. If you have a driveway approach, and right now it's asphalt road, and your driveway approach is concrete, if we do asphalt, will they replace the asphalt approach in each driveway?
We always do aprons in concrete.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Indiana Street, Durand Avenue to Pierce Boulevard? Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Indiana Street, Durand Avenue to Pierce Boulevard? And finally, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Indiana Street, Durand Avenue to Pierce Boulevard? I declare the comments section closed for this street, and we are now going to move on to Kings Circle.
All right, next street is King Circle from the cul-de-sac to Oakwood Drive. This is in District 14, Alder Harmon's district. Existing surface is bituminous, constructed in 2009 with a current PCI rating of 35. The existing pavement width is 24 foot from edge to edge, with existing right-of-way of 66 feet. The estimated improvement cost for Portland cement concrete pavement is $208 a front foot, or $91 for bituminous for front foot. There is no curb and gutter there, so a curb and gutter can also be assessed at $63 a front foot. This is a staff recommendation. To date, we have 2 emails, or 9.27% opposed. This was also brought up in 2024.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Kings Circle, cul-de-sac to Oakwood Drive? Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Kings Circle, cul-de-sac to Oakwood Drive? Finally, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Kings Circle, cul-de-sac to Oakwood Drive? I declare the comment section for this street to be closed, and we are now going to move on to Lombard Avenue.
Next street is Lombard Avenue from North Main Street to Chatham Street. This is in District 5, Alder Jorgensen's district. The existing surface is bituminous, constructed in 1974 with a current PCI rating of 28. The existing pavement width is 36 foot from flange to flange. Actually, that's should be 32 foot from flange with existing right-of-way of 60 feet. The improvement estimated cost for Portland cement concrete is $222 a front foot, or $103 for bituminous concrete pavement. This is a staff recommendation. To date, we've received 1 email in opposition, or 25.02%. This was also brought up in 2024.
Thank you. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Lombard Avenue, North Main Street to Chatham Street? All right, please step forward, state your name, address, and your position, please.
Dale Staley and my wife Susan,
Thank
301 Lombard, right on the corner of Lombard and Chatham. And we did Chatham in 2024 for $11,000 in concrete, and now we get to look at the other corner for $15,000. I think that's kind of odd, but we have only 4 people on this street. I've talked to 3, and they've all said no, except for one that I don't know. He said he was going to send it in. I don't know, what was the 1 vote you got? You got a 1 no?
Yeah,
We got one no.
email, yes.
And it was a no?
Yes.
And it was no, yes.
Well, the other 3 are no's also. So that is 100% saying, why do we need to do this? We said no to Chatham, and I do want to point out one thing which we brought up last time. We had more no's than we had yeses on Chatham, which cost us money, but the city decided that anyone who abstained, in essence, voted yes. And they voted for concrete. If we have to do this, which I guess is going to happen someday, 2 of my neighbors have said asphalt is the only way we would do it. And the other point is this threat that we're going to have to maintain the asphalt. I mean, guess, great. I mean, half of the people who left wanted to maintain the asphalt. I don't know if I can be any more clear than that. Our footage is actually shorter, and when you did the intersection of the street, if you look at the visual,
You have 1 minute.
good. If you look at the visual of this side, we have an extra 20 feet of concrete that was
Your front footage is based on the right-of-way, so the right-of-way extended. So your right-of-way along Chatham Street, which is the back of sidewalk extended, your north and south sidewalk, that's where your right-of-way ends. The city pays for anything that's within the, the public right-of-way.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. No problem at all. No. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Lombard Avenue, North Main Street to Chatham Street? Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Lombard Avenue, North Main Street to Chatham Street? And finally, is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Lombard Avenue, North Main to Chatham Street? I declare the public comment section closed for this street, and now we are going to move on to Monarch Drive.
Next street is Monarch Drive from Emston Hills Road to Regal Court. This is in District 14, Alder Harmon's district. The existing surface is bituminous, constructed in 2007, with a current PCI rating of 22. The existing pavement width is 32 foot from edge to edge, with existing right-of-way of 66 feet. The improvement estimate cost for Portland cement concrete is $222 a front foot, or for bituminous is $92 a front foot. Since there's no curb and gutter can also be assessed at $63 a front foot. This is a staff recommendation, and to date, we've had 0% feedback. This was also brought up in 2024.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Monarch Drive, Emston Hills Road to Regal Court? All right, please step forward, state your name, address, and your position, please. And be mindful that you have 3 minutes.
My name's Sharon Port, 3413 Monarch Drive. I'm opposed. Can I ask who decides what roads need to be done?
Basically, it's staff and/or we have a consultant that rates all of, about 1/5 of our roads. I mean, it's a pavement management system that every road in the city, every alley in the city is all rated per industry standards. And once, like I said, once that threshold goes below 40, the road is brought up for public hearing for a potential candidate for reconstruction.
If I could, just to that PCI rating of 40, that's not a random number that we came up with. That was actually set by the Common Council decades and decades ago. So that's not something that Public Works is just making up. That's where that number comes from.
You look on the map, houses. I don't know what happened to the owners of the house across. How do I get in touch with them? Because the lady died and no one lives there.
I think you'd have to look up on a county GIS who would own that, who actually owns the property, and attempt to contact them. That would be the only way.
I still have time to hand in a petition?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Monarch Drive? Thank you. Please step forward, state your name, address, and your position.
Briar Powell, 3421 Monarch Drive. I am opposed.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Monarch Drive, Emston Hills Road to Regal Court? Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Monarch Drive, Emston Hills Road to Regal Court? And last but not least, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Monarch Drive, Emston Hills Road to Regal Court? I declare the comment sections to be closed for this street, and we will now move on to North Wisconsin Street. Thank you.
Next street is North Wisconsin Street from the cul-de-sac to Carlton Drive. This is in District 15, Alder Papan's district. The existing surface is constructed in deep oil in 1968 with a current PCI rating of 23. The existing pavement width is 32 foot from flange to flange with a current right-of-way of 60 feet. The improvement estimated cost for Portland cement concrete is $222 a front foot, or for bituminous is $131 a front foot. This is a staff recommendation. To date, we've received one email, or 24.98% opposed. This was also brought up in 2024.
Is there anyone here tonight to speak on North Wisconsin Street cul-de-sac to Carlton Drive? Thank you. Please state your name, address, and position.
Hi, Dave Olson, 3670 North Wisconsin Street. I'm opposed, and I have a letter of opposition.
Thank you. Please give that to Kendra. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on North Wisconsin Street? Please step forward, state your name, address, and position.
William Pope, 3665 North Wisconsin Street. I am opposed, and I got the same petition from our guy that does the petition every 2 years. Question, so north of us is a bigger cul-de-sac, and it was done. Errol, what happened? Why didn't we get the opportunity to do it then? Because it looks like your chart is nice that you made it, and it's going to get more expensive.
You had to be tough on me, didn't you, Bill? So each block, basically, in the city is divided up as a unit.
Okay.
And that's how each road is rated per unit. So, from intersection to intersection, or cul-de-sac to intersection, whatever it is, that is one unit. So yes, I was the one that designed and did the cul-de-sac to the north of you.
You neglected us then?
What's that?
Not that I said you neglected us. But no, I'm not going to be the crabapple, but the guys have good points. Like Dave is myself, and there's three, and then the two people at the mouth of the cul-de-sac really don't use our cul-de-sac. And really, the city beats it up, obviously, plows. I'm not really sure, I'm not from here, but we've lived here for 30 years. Not sure why they use a front-end loader to pick up leaves. It's kind of ridiculous, but again, I don't want to use up all of my 3 minutes. But, so yeah, we're going to oppose it. I'll give another sheet here, and then what do? We just wait for you guys to make a ruling that it's 100% opposed, so. And then what's the
Nothing
next
is
step?
decided tonight. Next week, there will be a final decision. If that's the similar petition that has already been handed in, that's fine. If not, please give it to Kendra. Thank you. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on North Wisconsin Street cul-de-sac to Carlton Drive? Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on North Wisconsin Street cul-de-sac to Carlton Drive? All right. And finally, is there anyone here that would like to speak on North Wisconsin Street cul-de-sac to Carlton Drive? If not, I declare the comment sections to be closed for this street, and now we are going to discuss Reichert Court.
Last street for tonight is Reichert Court from Michigan Boulevard to the dead end. This is in District 1, or Alder Frazier's district. The existing surface is bituminous, constructed in 1992 with a PCI rating of 29. The existing pavement width is 24 feet from edge to edge, with existing right-of-way of 60 feet. The improvement estimated cost for Portland cement concrete is $208 a front foot, or for bituminous at $72 a front foot. This is a staff recommendation, and to date we've received one letter, or 63.58% opposed. This was never brought up to public hearing.
Thank you. So, is there anyone here tonight to speak on Reichert Court? Please state your name, address, and your position. Be mindful that you have 3 minutes.
My name is Dan Kaiser. I'm speaking on behalf of 90 Reichert Court and 1001 North Michigan Avenue. For the reconstruction of Reichert Court, as outlined in the recent notice of public hearing, after reviewing the materials provided, I respectfully object to the proposed project and the associated assessments for the following reasons. First, the necessity and timing of the project are unclear. The materials indicate that if the project is not approved, the city will continue to maintain the roadway through patching and routine maintenance. This suggests the roadway is not in a condition requiring immediate full reconstruction. As such, it is not evident that a complete reconstruction is warranted at this time, as opposed to continued maintenance or a more limited repair. Further, the road is not, as of yet, an integral roadway worthy of a major repair. Second, the proposed assessment appears to significantly overstate the benefit to my properties. The methodology relies heavily on the frontage-based allocation, as others have said. However, my property at 1001 Michigan contains extensive frontage that does not correspond to proportional access or use. The property does not utilize, nor does it benefit from the full extent of the frontage being assessed. Accordingly, the proposed assessment exceeds the actual special benefit to the property. Third, to the extent that Reichert Court is used at all, Reichert Court provides direct access to a public park. I see you said it says dead end. It's actually not. It's a park. As a result, a substantial portion of the benefit is clearly general public benefit rather than a special benefit to my adjacent parcels. The current allocation, which assigns the vast majority of project costs to myself, does not appear to appropriately account for this public use. Finally, I note that the city has previously considered acquisition of some of my land at 90 Reichert Court as part of a broader redevelopment effort involving adjacent city-owned land. That this road project was not raised until after we failed to come to an agreement to sell the property in spite of my good faith efforts. I'm concerned that this plan is a form of retribution for the sale of my property, which was verbally agreed to with city employees, but was too high for the Common Council to approve. Given that context, the proposed reconstruction appears to support a larger municipal objective. Since the roadway is not going to be heavily used until after the development is completed, infrastructure of this nature is more appropriately addressed through broader public financing mechanisms, such as incorporation into a tax increment district, which had previously been proposed, or other redevelopment planning tools, rather than through disproportionate special assessments on a limited number of adjacent parcels. For these reasons, I respectfully request the city reconsider the necessity, scope, and funding structure of this project, and that the proposed special assessment will be not approved in its current form. I will note I had previously come to an agreement to sell the property to the city of Racine, only to have the plan turned down, and that offer remains on the table. I appreciate your consideration and would welcome the opportunity to discuss further. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Reichert Court, Michigan Boulevard to Dead End? Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak on Reichert Court, Michigan Boulevard to Dead End? And finally, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on Reichert Court, Michigan Boulevard to Dead End? I declare public comments for this street to be closed. This concludes tonight's public hearing. There will be a 5-minute break before we go into our next meeting. Thank you. All right, committee, we're going to get started. All right, thank you. We are going to call this Public Works and Services Committee meeting back to order. The first item of business is approval of the minutes for April 14, 2026 meeting.
Madam Chair, I move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a second by Alder Widener. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to the next item. Ron, can you assist and read, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have item 0258-26, communication sponsored by Alder Pete on behalf of Thomas Haskell from Pentecost Lutheran Church requesting to close Jerome Boulevard between Coolidge and Case Avenue for the 22nd Annual Neighborhood Block Party on July 25th, 2026 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Staff recommendation that permission be granted to Pentecost Lutheran Church to close Jerome Boulevard between Coolidge Avenue and Case Avenue from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on July 25th, 2026 for the block party per the attached stipulations. Fiscal note, there will be nominal costs to various city departments on a regular shift basis to assist in implementing this event. Madam Chair.
Do we have a motion? Thank you. We have a motion by Alder Papon and a second by Alder DeMarc. And now all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. We have the ayes have it. Moving on to next item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Department submitting final payment for contract 2024088, Island Park Parking Lot Upgrade, Lalonde Contractors, Inc. Contractors. Staff recommendation that the work completed by Lalonde Contractors Incorporated on contract 2024088, Island Park Parking Lot Upgrade, be accepted and final payment authorized for the total contract amount of $316,728.85. Final payment to include retainage. Fiscal note, contract 224 was authorized under resolution number 0355-24 dated May 7, 2024.
All right. Do we have any motions on the floor? Any seconds? Thank you. We have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Alder Widener.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. This is the contractor's application for final payment, and I just want to understand how this works. On that page, it has the original contract sum of $296,551. It says net change by change orders. Should there not be the change order included in that? Because it says contract sum to date, lines 1 plus 2, and then the total is the 316, which included the change order.
I am going to allow your question to be answered.
Sure.
Chris Bosher. Thank you, Chris. Can you step in front of the mic so that we all can hear you, please? Thank you.
This is the contractor's application for payment, and they missed putting in the change order, but it was passed by committee and resolution. So the total on the contract is correct. They just forgot to add it in their application for payment.
Do you have any other questions, Alder Widener?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or discussions from the committee?
Approve.
And we have a second. All right, if there are no other questions or discussions, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 0259-26, subject communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Department of Public Works, submitting bid results for contract 2026-010-2026 city resurfacing. Recommendation that contract 2026-010-2026 city resurfacing be awarded to Payne and Dolan Incorporated in the amount of $1,197,904.42, they being the lowest responsive bidder. Funding is available in the accounts listed. Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right. Do we have a motion on the floor with regards to this item?
We have some discussion or questions before we have more?
That is how we did it before, but if you would like to have a discussion before we make a motion, I am fine with that as well. Alder Whitener, do you have any questions or do you have any questions that you would like to ask about this item?
I do have questions. So we are bidding on a contract that was approved last year, I believe?
This was approved in the budget, yes.
Yeah. So is there a way we can know what streets we're talking about? And also, is there a way that we can know about these accounts? Need to go back to the resolution, or how do we find out what streets we're
Off the top of my
paving?
head, I can, Michigan Boulevard from Riker Court to Gould is the big one. We're doing 8th Street right here by the Public Works field office from Washington to Racine Street. We're doing the oval about, I call it the oval about by Park High School on Valley. There are some other ones. We're doing, I think the other ones are, we're doing 4th Street from kind of halfway between 5th and 4th. I'm sorry, Lake Avenue, halfway between 5th and 4th to State Street. And then we're also doing, I'm going to call it Christopher Columbus Way, but it's Tippecanoe or whatever it is. Basically the city portion, right by festival site, the festival site. I believe that is it. There might be another small one somewhere, but that. All right, so all these funding sources are basically, you know, these are all approved in the budget. So sanitary sewer, there's 2 different types of sanitary sewer. There is a estimated cost for just improving the sanitary sewer portion, like adjusting manholes, any relays that are happening with the project. If there's any spot repair or something like that. Plus there's also out of both stormwater maintenance and sanitary maintenance, stormwater utility. There is a set aside amount of money for just paving, because there's always storm sewer, there's always sanitary sewer. Those dollar amounts are set in the budget, and we break them up between projects. So you'll see those items. The crosswalks,
On this list of budget items, the crosswalks are for the handicap ramps at the corner. Sometimes, and then there's also the sidewalk replacement. There's, if we change the profile enough that we have to replace a driveway apron or a carriage walk or something to that effect, or sidewalk, because of our project, we cover the cost of that, as opposed to if it's a trip hazard, that's a whole nother animal that we won't get into. Does that answer your question, or? I'm used to getting drilled all night, so. The only time you're going to get, if it's coming from the private owners, if it's the accessible project, or if it's the sidewalk. All the others, and this is kind of the last of our bid process for the street, or for engineering anyways. So city resurfacing, concrete reconstruction, and any other particular ones, those are always all city funds. All right? Mostly, yes. Because there's always a portion, even on the accessible streets, where the city has to pay for, at the intersections, we pay for anything in the public right of way. We've had a lot of comments tonight on cul-de-sacs, where we assess for basically the throat width of a cul-de-sac. We don't assess for the bubble. So there's that cost that the city eats. There's 100 different little variations of each little assessment, so.
To make this a little bit simpler, if you see a number with a 45040 in front of it, that can be found in the 10-year capital improvement plan that was approved during the budget. So that's coming from general obligation bond borrowing, okay? The other numbers, like the 22640, if it starts with that, that is a sanitary sewer. Those are special revenue funds that come, that there's a sanitary sewer surcharge that goes on your taxes that goes into those funds. And the same thing with 60484, that's a storm sewer revenue fund. So if that helps simplify things for the committee, that's where these numbers are driving from.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Alder Widener, any other questions? All right, thank you. Alder Allen.
Numbers a little quickly. Could you do that again? Just the four.
Sure.
Yeah, the 45040. Those are.
So basically, like in the middle of that column there, you see 1, 2, 3. There's 3 sidewalk replacement, crosswalk ramps, and DPW paving. You see each one of those has a 45040. That signifies that that's being paid for through borrowing and the capital improvement program that you folks voted on for last year during the budget. 22640, anything you see with that, so the first number that you would see there, or there's another one second from the last, that includes, that's the sanitary sewer special revenue fund. So that's a direct fee basically to the homeowners of the city of Racine. And the same thing holds true with anything you see with 60484 in it, which is the second item and the last item. That always indicates a storm sewer, it indicates the money is coming from the storm sewer fund, which is also a fee that the residents of the city of Racine pay. So this is a combination of special revenue funds and general obligation bond borrowing that's going into this project. Does that make sense? Okay.
Thank you. Are
Madam
there
Chair.
any other questions or discussions for item 0259-26? Alder Papon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would Assistant Commissioner Fritzloff, would you mind recapping that in an email to us, just so we can reference it for later?
Sure, I can, I'll,
Yeah,
I'm
just-
glad to do that.
Just so that way, if we're going back through it or whatnot, we just have it, that way we don't have to keep asking the same question. That's mainly for me.
No problem, I'll send the group an email.
Thank you.
Alder Widener?
Well, you've got the storm sewer fee, which all the residents and businesses are charged. You've got the sanitary sewer surcharge fee, and there's essentially the funding comes from a combination of general obligation bonds, special revenue funds, accessible funding, which essentially is a future funding, right? So, and I'll be glad, I'll put together an email kind of explaining these things to you guys, and we'll get that together, and if there's any questions.
Thank you. Are there any other questions regarding item 0259-26? All right. Are there any other questions? If there are no other questions or discussions with regards to this item, I am seeking a motion. The staff recommendation is that because it's the lowest responsible bidder, that it be approved. Is there any motion?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to item 0260-26. Ron, could you please read that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Department of Public Works submitting bid results for contract 2026011, 2026 accessible streets and alleys. Staff recommendation is that contract 2026011, 2026 accessible streets and alleys be awarded to Milwaukee General Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $1,339,264.46, they being the lowest responsive bidder. Funding is available in the following org objects. And the org objects are as listed.
Thank you. Does anyone from the committee have any questions or discussions with regards to this item? Alder Widener.
Thank you. Just a question in regards to some of the discussion we had during the public hearing when people were asking if what they received in the letter on what they would be assessed as an abutting property owner. Because this bid for Milwaukee General came in lower than what was anticipated, does that mean whoever is getting their street or alley repaved that they're paying for, they would possibly be paying less than what they received on that letter?
Typically, yes, but it really is broken up into site by site. Because there's actually two different bid items on the bid. One is for streets, one is for alley pavement. Plus, there's other things involved in that assessment dollar amount, the gravel underneath, the excavation, a bunch of general stuff like mobilization, traffic control, that type of things. Those are all broken into that or added onto that assessment cost. The only things that aren't are your storm sewers, your sanitary sewers, anything that's, within the public right-of-way, we break that out. That's a separate on us, basically, or basically we kind of assess ourselves. So it really depends on when the project is done and finalized. That's when we go through but that is the dollar amount that's on their letter is the maximum amount that they will get. But yes, we have, in the past, there's been reductions in the cost to the property owners. Not much, but.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for discussion regarding this item? All right, thank you. The recommendation is for it to be approved due to it being the lowest responsible and responsive bidder. Do I have a motion regarding this item? We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? We have a second by Alder Widener. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. We're now going to move on to item 0302-26. Ron, could you please read that item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a communication we have a communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Department of Public Works submitting bid results for contract 2026015 Rapids Drive Lighting Phase 2. Staff recommendation that contract 2026015 Rapids Drive Lighting Phase 2 be awarded to Will Surge Electric Incorporated in the amount of $179,548.44, they being the lowest responsive bidder. Fiscal note funding is available in org object 45040-57520, general obligation bonds, street lights. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussion for item 0302-26 by the committee? Alder Widener.
Thank you. My question is, there's a big disparity in between what was projected for this and what was actually bid. So the project was believed to be around 230,000 and came in about 50,000 less than that, which is a good thing. And I guess my question would, and because there's a huge difference in between those bids, could you maybe explain to the committee what the bid process itself is on a project such as this?
This is a pretty simple, this is replacing lighting, and this is the second phase of the lighting project on Rapids Drive. Last year we replaced from Mount Pleasant Street to Eaton Lane. And actually that was replacing the cabinet and a whole bunch of other things, the lion's share of the project. This is just replacing the lights from Eaton Lane west to the city limits, pretty close to that DOT project that lasted forever for the bridge replacement. Discrepancy, that's up to the contractor, whatever they bid, they bid. And as long as they're responsive, they have all their, all their papers, the front end documents signed and everything, we go with the lowest responsible bidder.
I understand that part, but there are several members of this committee that have not yet served on this committee, so they don't know what the bid process itself is. So you put all these contracts out for bid. There's a date that people have to have their sealed bids in. That's what I'm looking for.
So
for
yeah,
us to understand.
we advertise for bid, and usually a month, 4 or 5 weeks. 2 advertisements a week apart, right? Usually the bids within 30 days of our first ad. We always open them on Monday or rare occasion now Tuesdays if it's a Memorial Day or something like that. And so we have time to get it into the agenda for the referral process. It's kind of we have a big spreadsheet with a bunch of dates on it, and it's kind of set in stone of when projects have got to be bid by, so they can meet the approval process of the 3-meeting, routine.
So the bidders themselves, though, there's a date that their bids are due by, and those bids are sealed, and then
It's all done electronically now, so we give them a date that it's due by, and it's due by 2 o'clock, right? Yeah, so 2 o'clock is our standard bid opening time. It's all done through Quest, which is is it a program? Or
An electronic bid service.
Yeah, it's a bid service. So that's the way we bid nowadays. It's been around for 20 plus years or so, but it's all done electronically, where it used to be they would come in with a sealed envelope, stick it in a lock box, usually up in the DPW department, and then we'd bring it in, and and the contractors would sweat and we wouldn't, and so, yeah, it's all electronic now, so.
But no one is aware of what somebody else is bidding, and no one is aware of what is proposed the project would cost. They're just going by what the description of the project, and then they bid on each of the individuals.
They bid off of the plans that we supply,
Yep,
so.
thank you. I promise I won't do this to you every meeting, but I do, I'm seizing an opportunity to kind of, so the committee can kind of understand how the processes work. So I won't do it to you every time.
Mine would be.
There are certain things, Alder Widener, that statutorily we have to do in public bidding, and the first of those is Class 1 notice in the local paper. So we have to do it twice. So 2 weeks in a row we advertise those out, and that's the beginning of the process from there. So just a clarification.
That's by statute.
Correct, ma'am.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Alder Widener? Thank you. All questions are accepted. I mean, if you have the question, someone else probably is thinking the same thing. Are there any other questions or discussion with regards to this item number? Ron, I do have one question. Kind of considering what Alder Widener was saying, that maybe not everyone is familiar with the process of how to bid and things like that. We would definitely want the contractors to understand the bidding process, be familiar with it, and the confidentiality of it. Have we worked with this contractor in the past? Have we awarded them any bids before? Are they familiar with the process? Speak a little bit on that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In this case, Will-Surge Incorporated, we've awarded several projects to them over the years, or the last few years at least. They're fully aware of the process. Our electronic bidding process requires each of the contractors who want to bid on our projects to be a member of Quest, because each of our projects is not only assigned a city contract number, it's also assigned a Quest contract number. That's how these contractors find them. They also find them through our advertisements. But once they find that in Quest, we have, through our bid documents, they can download those documents from Quest. They can read the bidder's instructions on how to bid, and they can go through Quest to actually submit their bid. Now, when they submit their bid, not all the other plan holders that have pulled plans off of Quest cannot see their bid. It's sealed until it becomes accepted, and I'm the one that actually accepts the bid or not. So when I go through and I review all the paperwork that they're required to submit, make sure everything's on track, make sure they've been pre-qualified to bid in the city of Racine. In this case, Will-Surge has. We review all those things before we even open the bid. So, and of course, during the bid process, if a contractor has a question, they know that they can call me, they can call ERA, they can call the project engineer who happens to have designed the project, if they need a clarification, if there's something wrong with the bid items, if that's the case, then we have the ability to put out what's called an addendum to the contract. So if there's a problem, let's just say, as an example, I forgot to put concrete pavement on a project, the item concrete pavement, and it's not on the bid form, and somebody lets me know that. Well, that's something that all the contractors who have pulled plans absolutely need to know. So in that case, I would do an addendum. The addendum would say, we're adding this item to the contract. The bid form in Quest will have been updated, and the addendum goes out to all the plan holders that are on the plan holders list. So we have ways of dealing with things that come up during a bid. We have certain processes that are in place that contractors are aware of, and if any questions come up, we have a methodology to deal with it. Does that make?
Thank you so much for clarifying that. I really
Yep.
appreciate it. All right. Are there any other questions, discussion with regards to this item? If not, I am open for a motion with regards to this.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? It's seconded by Alder Widener. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Next item, 0261-26. Ron, could you please read that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the city engineer requesting approval of the transportation project plat for state project ID 2703-09-02/72 Mount Pleasant Street construction project between Rapids Drive and Romaine Avenue. Staff recommendation that the request be approved and funding is available in the 2026 capital improvement plan budget. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions, concerns, or discussion with regards to this item? Alder Widener.
Eric, can you tell us what this is? I mean, I read the thing, but can you
Okay,
tell us?
so we are under contract, by council approval with AECom for design services for Mount Pleasant Street from Rapids to Romaine. This is part of that bill funding that we got several years ago. We got 6 projects, 2 bridges, and 4 streets. This is one of them. Basically, the transportation plat is the right-of-way plat that they do for the project. This way, once this is approved, we can start acquiring property or via either temporary limited easement, which is a non-permanent, just basically use of their property, or fee acquisition where we actually take, small slivers of their property. This happens on all the DOT projects. This particular item is basically to approve that we can get started on those acquisitions for the project.
Approve the right-of-way plat and authorize the appropriate signatures for the plat.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next item, 0266-26. Ron, could you read that, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Department of Public Works submitting change order number 1 to contract 2024-058, 2024 city resurfacing of the lawn contractors. Staff recommendation that change order number 1 to contract 2024-058, 2024 city resurfacing of the lawn contractors incorporated be approved in the deduct amount of $153,606.95. And funding from the, for this change order would be credited in the listed account numbers. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussions with regards to this? Alder Widener, please.
So there are 2 kinds of change orders. One is usually when you're adding something to a project, and then the other kind of change order is this kind, which is a deduct or a rectifying change order. So, Era, maybe you could explain to the committee the difference between the 2?
Well, technically, there's only one type of change order. It could be either a deduct or a add. It's basically just a change to the contract dollar amounts. A deduct, a rectifying change order is basically the last change order we'll do for a project. It is at the end of the project where both the my staff and the contractor agree to quantity. So there's going to be, even in the deduct change order, there's still some adds, there's still some there's some subtracts. It's basically a balancing of the checkbook before we say, okay, this is the final dollar amount. We're going to get this change order approved, and then the final pay, which is the next item on the agenda. But this is basically just a rectifying change order at the closeout of the project. Sometimes early on, if there's some unforeseeable thing that we have to change, we'll come up with with just a change order, just to get something that was completely different or omitted off the, off the design of the project. Maybe an add-on or something, whatever, but, so this, a rectifying change order is at the close. That's just the balancing of the checkbook, basically.
Thank you, Aaron. I think laying this groundwork on a lot of the terminology will be helpful to all of us going forward, and we won't have to spend so much time asking so many questions.
I drive my wife nuts with.
All right. Any other questions on item 0266-26?
Approve
All
change
right.
order 1.
We have a motion to approve the change. Is there a second?
Second.
We have multiple seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Next item, 0267-26. Ron, please read.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Department of Public Works submitting final payment for contract 2024058, 2024 city resurfacing of the Lawn Contractors Incorporated contractor. Staff recommendation that the work completed by Lawn Contractors Incorporated on contract 2024058, 2024 city resurfacing be accepted and final payment authorized for a total contract amount of $1,479,536.99. Final payment to include retainage. Fiscal note contract 2024058 was authorized under resolution number 0353-24 dated May 7th, 2024. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions, discussions regarding item 0267-26? Alder Weidner?
Thank you. So this question is in regards to when the contractor submits the request for final payment, they have to include a lot of documents in there, including the Racine Works Program payout request. So, Era, I don't know if you or Ron want to explain to the committee exactly what that is and what this document.
Well, at the close of every construction project, like the previous item, we come to terms with quantity. There's also a lot of things. Racine Works program has been adopted by the Common Council. It's a program that requires a contractor to either attempt or prove that they have a percentage, agreed upon percentage of work that's done by local residents. That is all administered through the finance department. There's a dozen, if you look, there's 8-10 pages all associated with this item in the, as attachments. We check to see, the finance department is actually the one that administers it. They give us the okay on the Racine Works, and then there's a sign-off page on that. We make sure that they've paid all their contractors, which is what you see with the lien waivers. So each subcontractor of that contractor is been paid. Those are things that we check before we agree to the final pay and bring it to committee council for approval.
Oh, could you kind of clarify what this means with the Racine Works program, where the total project hours are 5,054, but the project RWP hours are 2,366, and it gives the city residents that worked on the project, which two individual RWP side, and the compliance percentage is 47%. So is that how that works? That's something the finance department does.
We're going to have Ron answer that.
Alder Weidner, so the Racine Works program requires that 20% of the labor hours on the contract be done by certain socioeconomic, all in the ordinance. I can't remember it specifically off the top of my head, but and certified through the Racine Works program. So our purchasing agent is generally the one that administers that program, and if you don't reach that goal, then there's penalties involved. So I believe the ordinance says it's either $10,000 or 2.5% of the total contract amount, whichever's higher. So in this case, there is no penalty, which is great. We do see contractors that do not meet it every once in a while but by and large, if they're in communication, because sometimes there's problems, sometimes they can't get certified people. So there's all kinds of things that can happen, but the bottom line is, as long as a contractor is working weekly with our purchasing agent and our Racine Works staff in the finance department, generally speaking, they'll be okay. Now, if they just don't communicate and, you know, it ends up that 5% of their labor hours came out to what they had on the project, then yeah, they're going to be looking at a penalty. And as a matter of fact, at the last meeting, there was a couple of penalties I think that came through. So unfortunately, you guys didn't get to experience that, but that's generally how our Racine Works program works. There's a lot more to it with regard to the verbiage in the ordinance, but by and large, that's my take on it.
In this contract, the RWP compliance percentage is 47%. That seems substantial. If the requirement is 20. Is this?
I rarely see much over 21%. So it's really good that they got 47%. That's really good.
I'm not familiar. It's
20% of the labor hours that were submitted, then they're not going to get a penalty. Now, and they've been signed off in this case, from what I understand, that the purchasing agent John DeGrota signed off on it. And if they had over 40% of their labor hours as Racine Works hours, that's great. That's great. John DeGrota, and I know there's a Racine Works program rep. Her name is Ana Gutierrez. I think she specifically works with contractors and works with those folks who might be want to be certified as RWP laborers or workers or what have you. So she helps contractors find people as well to apply with the program.
So the reason I bring this up is I recall back when our WP first started, we had a very difficult time for contractors to be able to achieve the 20%. So when I saw the 47%, I thought this program is really working well as far as getting employment opportunities for City of Racine residents for construction jobs.
That's where I'm, like I said, this is a finance department administered. I looked at it as that 47% is 7% of the 20% required. We still have a difficult time with construction projects to get that 20% required. As long as the contractor shows an effort, and they're hitting they're making phone calls every week to see if they can hire somebody. The finance department usually is very lenient. If they don't make any effort whatsoever, they never call the finance department during the course of the project, that's when they get their, the hammer comes down and they get their penalty. So it's just an assumption. I'm not 100% certain at this 47%, but I think that 47% represents, roughly, 9% of the 20, so 9% of the 20%.
Oh, I misunderstood this form. I thought the total project hours for the whole project was the 5,000.
It would be a miracle if we got 47% local participation on a construction project. The construction, there's only a few contractors that are in town, and even most of their people are not Racine residents. So, like, for example, A.W. Oaks. We all know A.W. Oaks. They're out on Oaks Road. Imagine that. But anyways, even they are usually the best. They usually come in right around 20% or so, but because their employees are scattered almost throughout the state, they still have, it's still very difficult to get that 20%.
So when the project gets bid or awarded, Finance Department determines that of all the hours that this project should take in this situation, it would be 5,054 hours that are RWP required, but this contractor was only able to achieve the 2,366. So that was the 47% of.
The contractor is required to submit their time, their time.
Yep.
So they'll have their list of employees that worked on the project this particular week. And and then it varies from crew to crew. You'll have a breakout crew, you'll have a forming crew, you'll have a paving crew, and then you have subs that also have requirements too. They all submit their timesheet to finance department. Finance grinds through those numbers, and I can guarantee you that 47% is not 47% of the total project. So,
according to the
Thank you for
paperwork, that's what
clarifying.
it's showing. I mean, they're saying that, like, the finance department does not put together estimates of hours. They're working with actual hours that the contractor is submitting for the project. So that's how that works.
Contractor submitted the 5,054 hours, and then they said of those 5,054 hours, we were able to use RWP employees, only the 2,366. Okay. Now I understand this. This is why I had algebra 7 times. Thank you. I won't have to burden you with it again next time. I'll understand.
No problem, Alder Widener. Are there any other questions or discussion with regards to item 0267-26? All right, I am looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Now we are going to move on to item 0273-26. Ron, could you read that, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a communications file sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Commissioner of Public Works submitting Amendment 2 to Contract 2026-027 McMinn Tower Professional Services Agreement, Casing and Associates. Staff recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized and directed to sign Amendment 2 to Contract 2026-027 in a not-to-exceed amount of $50,306.20. Funding is available in Org Object 45040571110, Land Improvements. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussions with regards to item 0273-26? All right. Are there any questions or discussion with regards to item 0273-26? Is there a motion with regards to this item?
Madam Chair, I'd move to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second? All right, multiple seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 0305-26. Ron, could you please read?
We have a communication sponsored by Alder Mack on behalf of the Commissioner of Public Works submitting under Amendment 1 to Contract 225187, State Municipal Financial Agreement for State Project ID 2290-10-02/72, State Highway 38 Bridge over Rip River, B510069. Staff recommendation that the city be authorized and directed to sign Amendment 1 to Contract 225187, State Municipal Financial Agreement for State Project ID 2290-10-02/72, State Highway 38 Bridge over River. Fiscal note estimated cost for this project is $15,070,000 for design and construction, with the city's share being $651,000. Funding is available in the 2026 to 2035 Capital Improvement Program budget. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussions with regards to this item? I'll ask one more time. Are there any questions or discussions for this item? If not, is there a motion on the floor?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? We have multiple seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Now we're going to move on to item 0255-26. Ron, could you please read that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A communication sponsored by Alder Widener requesting to discuss the change in policy regarding special garbage collection and reducing application period from 12 to 6 months.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussions with regards to this item? Alder Widener, please.
Thank you. I'll speak to this item. I submitted this request based on information that was provided to one of my constituents. She was given information from the Department of Customer Service that she was required to turn in the special garbage collection form once every 6 months, and evidently that is not correct. I thought this item was pulled from the agenda, but I see it here, so my recommendation would be, is to receive and file this item, but also to make clear to the Department of Customer Service that it is an annual requirement that people turn in their change, their special garbage collection notice.
All right, are there any other questions? Yes, Alder DeMark.
So is this for like people with disabilities where they have to have specialized plans?
That is correct. So what happens with this, unless somebody else wants to explain, would it be better coming, yeah.
So these special collections, Alder DeMark, are for folks that cannot get their garbage to the curb. So, and essentially it means our guys are walking up and getting the cans by their house, and then retrieving them. But there's requirements in order to receive that service, and the biggest one is we send out on a annual basis. We send out to all the addresses that we know of that have a handicapped person or somebody that just can't get their bins out to the curb. We send out reminders to them, and the biggest part of that is they have to have a doctor sign off and send that information back to us, and then we add it to our list. And the opposite might be true. We may send it out to somebody who did have a special collection, and we find out that, I don't know, somebody bought the house and it's no longer. So if we don't receive those back, they come off the list. And I think one thing that maybe happened in this case is, let's just say, for instance, I'm new to special collections and I want to get a special collection. Mm-hmm. And let's just say, for instance, I apply on September 2nd, okay? September 2nd, 2026, I apply for special collection, okay? Whatever, I came into the customer service office, you said you wanted to apply. We typically send these out around the end of October, beginning of November. So, but in this particular case, if they apply and we approve it, what happens is they are approved through the end of the year, 2026, and all of the following year till the end of October, November, when we send those notices out again. Does that make sense? Right, so that's special collection in a nutshell. We have about between 250 and 300 of those throughout the city.
Are there any other questions? There's been a recommendation to receive and file. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move to receive and file.
We have a motion to receive and file. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to receive and file and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Before we adjourn, I'd like to thank my committee for the chair selection. And I also would like to remind everyone, if you, we have monthly meetings, and if you are going to not be here, please let someone know so that we can make sure that we have a quorum for these meetings. Is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, I apologize. Hold on. There's a discussion. There's a question. Yes, Alder Widener.
Before we adjourn, I just want to suggest to the committee members that the two documents that we reviewed tonight in public hearing, that you hold on to those, because in 2 weeks at our Public Works meeting, we'll probably have another public hearing, but we also will, in committee, be determining on each one of these streets if we're going to either delete them from the project or move them forward. So it'd be a good idea if you hold on to these until our next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Very good advice. Any other questions or comments from any of the committee members? All right. Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn. All right. Second.